Hey, 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 what do you say? It's a great day. It's Thursday. It's the first Thursday of the month, and we are here live online at 9 with Event Ensemble with the perfect host, Mr. Jim Cerone. We are so excited to have you join us. I have seen this presentation. I have seen it grow. I've seen it change. I've seen it morph, and I've seen you grow, mature. I mean, I saw you singing the other day. Singing. I mean, wow. We are all in for a treat. Before I let Jim share his screen and do his thing, I just want to be really clear that sometimes people will say apples, and all they think are apples. But there are red apples, there are green apples, okay? And not just apples, apples are actually part of a family called fruit, and there are lots of different types of fruit. So don't take everything literal that Jim says, as it might be specifically geared towards maybe an entertainer or a DJ or some other service. But the truth is, all of these ideas and concepts that Jim is going to share with you today relate to how you interact with your audience at an event, your audience as in your clients, your audience as in your vendors that you network with, and on and on and on. So all of these tools can be expanded throughout your business. And with that, I give you the amazing, perfect host, Jim Cerone.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thank all of you for being here. I really appreciate the chance to talk with you, and I appreciate your time. One of the things that I love to talk about, and I think we all do, is our significant other. And so I'd like to start with a story about my wife. Rosie and I will be married 28 years this year, and she is an exceptional cook. She's outstanding, but the two of us really like to go out to eat as well. We live in Indianapolis, Indiana. We live in a suburb called Fishers, and we're those people who really like to support local restaurants rather than chains. And there's one local restaurant in particular that we frequent a lot. And one of the things, and this will apply to all of us, but one of the things that a restaurant has is two different types of customers. They have people that come in and try the restaurant once and never return. And then they have repeat customers or regulars. And this restaurant that we go to in Fishers, we love the staff. We love the food, especially the ensalada caprese pictured here. And we love the location. And we would go a lot more often. And in the restaurant example, which applies to all of us, a one-time customer might come in once and spend $50. But if that restaurant is able to achieve repeat customers, and they're able to make that customer feel so welcome that they stop by the restaurant once a week, that $50 times 52 weeks turns into, instead of $50, $2,600. What could we all do, Scott?
Jim, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to let you know that we're looking at your PowerPoint program, not your slides, and that it sounds like you might be on slide 3, but we're still looking at the first slide of your PowerPoint program, not your slideshow.
Okay, not sure why that's happening.
That's okay. I'm not a Mac person, so somebody who's a Macer, jump in.
Okay. Do you see a full screen with one slide now?
No. We just see the actual your PowerPoint program.
Okay.
Jim, I don't know if it's different if you have two screens, if you need to share your presentation versus the application.
Right.
So you may have shared the application, but not the actual full side, the presentation. So. Okay. There it is.
There it is. Okay. Thank you very much. Carry on, sir.
Okay. Now you see my beautiful wife?
Yes.
Okay. So this restaurant that we love to go to would get a lot more of our business if they did one thing a little bit better. The ensalada caprese, as I mentioned, is exceptional. That's not the issue. We would come in once a week and we would spend $2,600 if they would do one thing. if they would just learn our names. We are regulars enough there that they should know our names by now. How special would it make you feel if you went to your favorite restaurant and they said, "Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Favor, right this way." If you do like I do, you drink sweet tea. If the staff remembered that and brought your drink before you asked, if you like to drink cosmopolitans or if your drink of choice is a dark stout beer, wouldn't it be exceptional if the staff knew that and brought it to you before you asked? Such a simple little thing. And how much would that cost the restaurant? Not a thing. Not a thing. Drax was there when this all started. Some of you may know Drax. He is the president of the American Disc Jockey Association. And way back in 2006, we were all in Arizona for a conference, the board of directors. And we were driving back from lunch and Drax turned around and said, "Tony Barthel can't make it tonight. We need somebody to present to our chapter. Who's got something?" And I kind of sheepishly raised my hand and I said, I sort of have this idea I've been working on. It's about hosting and being a perfect host. And he said, "Start writing." And so I presented that night to the Arizona chapter. And what I've done since then is really learned simple things that don't cost a dime that will make your business stand out from others. So here are 5 quick success secrets. I love this quote: "Politeness is the oil of the wheels of society." It's such a simple thing, being polite, and unfortunately now so overlooked. People will say to me, "I don't, you're so nice." No, I'm polite, and you're mistaking politeness for being nice. When you are at a Cerone gathering, and we have them a lot, the most frequent words you'll hear around the table are "please" and "thank you." Now, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my wife, that's our kids, that's my aunts and uncles. We don't need to be formal and say please and thank you. They're family, but we do. And literally, if you're in the room, the most frequent things you'll hear are please and thank you. So simple, but you'll stand out if you use those words simply because other people don't. I don't know how many of us have been on a first date recently, or having met our spouses, our future spouses' parents. In those occasions, we're on our best behavior, right? We are acting very carefully. We're thinking. As event vendors in this wonderful industry that we all share, we serve 3 different clients, 3 groups. One is our clients, the people who hire and pay us, and we love them. We also serve vendors, the people that we work with. We're helping make their jobs easier by coming in and doing a professional job, whether we're supplying the tuxedos or whether we're bringing in the cake or whether we're capturing the video. We all are part of that vendor community. That's another, think of that as another group that you serve. And I'm very big on the word serve. I really think it's my purpose in life is to serve others. But we have 3 different groups that we serve: our clients, the vendors we get to work with, and their guests. And I don't care if you're carrying in a cake. I don't care if your job is doing the decor. Everything contributes. All of our events depend on, according to some studies, brides and grooms hire between 12 and 15 different vendors for their event, or a corporate event, same type of thing. So if you're on your best behavior all the time, you make a great impression. And dressing to impress is key. There's no style anymore that's important. There's formal, there's casual Friday, there's what style works best for you. My folks were wonderful. My dad taught me how to shine my shoes. And he told me, never just polish the toes, you polish the heels. Why? Because that's the impression you leave when you walk away. So polish, tip top, top to bottom, dress to impress, put on your best foot forward. I love Elizabeth's smile in this picture. A smile is the key to opening doors. When I do events as a DJ and an MC, I set up, I change into my outfit for the night, and right before the first guest walks in the door, I put on this big dumb smile. And I smile this big dumb smile for 5 or 6 hours. When I go to networking meetings, before I get out of the car, the last thing I do is I literally put on a smile. It's a subconscious thing, but if you show someone 2 pictures, and in one of the pictures, one person is smiling, and in the other, they're not, the person will gravitate to the smile. It's a subconscious thing we all do. We love to see smiles, and that opens doors. People don't want to know about your troubles or your problems. If you're smiling, then they feel warmer towards you. I was a communication major. This is our next step of success. And in this world that we all live in today, where we have so much noise constantly from the moment we get up and reach for our phone until we go to bed at night and put down our phone, there's noise coming at us all the time. Communication, especially in our industry, is something that's overlooked, but so, so important. If you are clear, and by that I mean, if you have 5 subjects you need to cover, I reach out to the venue manager before I play at an event. If there are 5 topics I need to talk about with them, I'm you would laugh if you were looking over my shoulder. I write emails and then I try to take 10 words out. If you can be as clear and concise as possible, be brief, it really helps, because again, we all have this constant noise. The really important one is the one in the middle. Don't wait for others to reach out to you. If you are proactive and open those lines of communication, because I had a degree in it, it just comes naturally to me. But being the first one to open the door of communication, whether you're working with a planner like Brandy, whether you're dealing with Keith, it doesn't matter. If you reach out first, then people perceive you as more professional. And so opening those lines of communication, being the first one to reach out. Again, because we all count on each other so much. Every event we do is really a series of cogs that all come together. And if we don't come together, then the wheel doesn't turn. Bryce is a wonderful communicator. He has taken classes. Now, we all speak for a living. It's what we do. But guess what? We continue to train and go to workshops and seminars to improve our communication. And you can do the same type of thing by evaluating your communication. The next time you have a sales call, we all have phones that actually have a recording feature in them. Record your side of your next sales consultation. Record your next Zoom call. And then go back and listen to how you communicated. Were you clear? Were you concise? Did you get the information across? Now, this is the one that's the most difficult, especially for us in the event industry. If we listen more carefully, then our clients get a better experience because we've noted the things that are important to them, and they feel more valuable to us because we have listened carefully. Now, I do 40 weddings a year. I'm not sure how many you all do. If you listen carefully, every one of those couples, doesn't matter, again, how many people you serve in a year, but if you listen carefully, every one of those couples will feel like your only couple. Now, when you're talking with Scott Favor, you know that you have a great listener. The reason that Scott is so effective with his spotlights is because he's an exceptional listener. It's so hard, again, for us not to talk about ourselves, not for us to interrupt. Really, really try the next time you're at a networking meeting, try not to interrupt anyone. Just make that your one simple goal, that for that 1 or 2 hour gathering of vendors and people that you're talking to, don't interrupt, listen. Listen more carefully. One of the easiest ways to listen is to ask questions, because we all love talking about ourselves. When you meet someone for the first time, and once you get past the how are you, great to see you, what are some questions that you can ask at networking events specifically? How about, what's your biggest challenge? What's the thing that frustrates you the most? If you're a cake person, it doesn't matter who, there are all kinds of questions you can ask to get people talking about themselves. What do you love about what you do? And then listen carefully to the answer. And again, that part is so difficult. We have two of these and one of these for a reason. We should be listening twice as much as we talk. If you become a better listener, people will like you better. Those three groups: your clients, the guests at events, the vendors that you get to work with. Alan Chitlick, another wonderful friend, an exceptional listener. When I need to rant about something, when I've had a frustrating week, I know that I can call Alan. He will listen carefully, and then the sign of a true friend, he will ask me questions that get to the heart of the issue and really help me think about what my rant was all about. If you have friends, the chances are your best friend is probably a great listener. If you improve your listening, they will value your friendship even more. Shelley's company, I'm sure that she is a great listener because she creates unique gifts for people and cakes. She couldn't do that if she didn't listen carefully. So just improving that one thing is going to really make a difference. Now, here's the slide that you're all dreading. Names. I know that a bunch of you are thinking to yourself, I'm no good with names. I just can't do it. I can't learn names. I'm incapable. That excuse doesn't wash anymore, especially today. When I prepared for this presentation, I went to the Event Ensemble page, and I went to our event today, and I looked to see who had marked going. Very simple. So cheating is encouraged. When you know you have a networking event coming up, and you can see on oh, Scott, what's the name of the Bright?
Eventbrite, or on the event page.
Thank you so much. Either Eventbrite or the event page. If it's on Facebook, chances are there's a list of who's interested, who's going, who can't attend, who's been invited. So if you're going to a networking event, you can see in advance who's going to be there, and you can study. And yes, I study. You can use Facebook to cheat, to really study. Now, every time I hire a new client, I either go to their wedding website, or I go to Facebook or Instagram, and I find them and I copy their photo and I put it into my agenda. So every time I'm getting ready to meet with that couple, I am reminded of their picture, of their photo. In your phone, there's a feature where you can tag someone's picture to their contact. So every time you add a new contact, try to search out a photo and add it to that. So when they call you, oh, now you have the reinforcement of the photo and their name together. If you Google how to remember names, you'll come up with millions and millions of ideas. All of our brains work a slightly different way. And so remembering names may work one way for me, but a different way for you. But you are encouraged to cheat. Now, Mitch Taylor, who's a wonderful friend, runs the Sales and Event Pros page, is a great speaker himself. He's been in the audience when I've done what I call this little parlor trick. When I do a seminar, just as we did today, as people gather before the seminar begins, I will go around and I'll introduce myself. Now, I've done my homework already. I've already looked at who might be coming. But when I meet them, I then remember where they're sitting. And at the Arizona chapter where I gave this presentation for the first time, where the perfect host was born, I went around the room and I named every single person at every single chair. Now, that's a little parlor trick. But what makes it work? Intention. People feel so special when you remember their name. We would go to that restaurant every week if they remembered our name and made us feel like regulars. That's what we want to be at this restaurant. We want to be regulars. But they just won't do that one little thing of remembering their names. Now, remembering names is important not just at the top tier of an event, but what I call the straw that stirs the drink. The bartenders, the wait staff, the bus people, those are the ones who truly make our events run. Do you know the names of the ones that you work with at the venues that you're at frequently? Those are the people that really will feel incredible if you'll learn their name. So use all of these wonderful techniques that we have now to cheat, but just be intentional. Listen and care fully enough when someone says their name, and you will make them feel so special. Fourth key to success is to learn empathy. And I'm a voracious reader. I read constantly. There's a book called Listening with Empathy. And I'll send links I have a huge Goodreads bookshelf with all of the business books that I've read. Listening with Empathy was a really great book for me. Another book is called Emotionally Engaged. I do 75% weddings, 25% corporate events. So my main clientele is couples getting married. And social media has changed everything about weddings. For a bride today, for a groom today, for any couple today, their wedding doesn't just happen for those 4 hours in those 4 walls anymore. Their wedding plays out from before she gets the ring on her finger or before they are proposed to until the honeymoon. And they know that all of their friends are judging them and paying attention. So the stress of having a wedding now is so much more on a couple than it used to be. Because for Gen Z and millennials, their friends and their friends' opinions are more important than their parents. And their friends are all on social media following, oh, there's the engagement shoot. Oh, there's the proposal. I pity the boyfriend who doesn't make sure that somebody is there to capture the proposal, because that's what a bride wants, so she can feature it on her social media. And then there's the bachelor and bachelorette party, and then there's the shower, and all of those things are featured on their Instagram, their content for their Instagram. So whether she's wearing Jimmy's shoes or whether he's wearing his polished tux shoes, put yourself in their shoes. That empathy will really help you understand the stress that they're under when you listen. And listening is 2 ways. We listen with our ears, and we also listen with our eyes. So when I'm sitting across from a couple, I can see when they're tense, when they're uptight. So if you're able to empathize with them and really understand that this is not just a wedding for 4 hours one day, this is 12 to 18 months of a production for their social media content. A great quote you've probably all heard: seek first to understand before you try to be understood. So really try to understand the stress and the pressure that your clients are feeling. Felicia probably deals with this a lot at her Celebrity Tux and Tails. If a groom walks in and his jacket is too tight and he's getting married tomorrow, he's very stressed out. If his shoes don't fit and he's going to be sore all day long, that's something that Felicia knows about and deals with. So it doesn't matter what aspect of the event business you serve, all of these things apply. In the event industry, again, none of us are solo. None of us do this ourselves. We are all part of a team in almost every single event that we do. And sharing the success is such a big part of it today. Now, with Dolphin Productions, I noticed that Morgan shares a lot on the Event Ensemble page. He shares the tags, he shares the video clips, makes sure to feature all of the people involved in an event that he does. So again, because we're part of a team, I always think of myself, I try to make everyone else's jobs easier. And sometimes that means sharing duties. When we've noticed that rain is blowing in and we're going to move the ceremony inside, I'm not just going to move my equipment. I'm going to help move chairs. I'm going to pitch in and share duties It doesn't matter what needs to be done. We all pitch in to do it together. Sharing information. It's the tendency is to kind of keep things close to the vest. That really doesn't help anybody. Sharing information, making sure everybody knows more than they need to know, makes for a better event. Share the spotlight. When I went to look for pictures for this presentation, Howard doesn't have hardly any pictures of himself. Anytime a camera comes out, Howard grabs somebody else and makes sure to share the spotlight with them. I love that about him. Share the spotlight. That's so key. And then in, again, this social media world where people will know if they're left out, do your best to make sure you include everyone's links. Now, for me as a DJ, I don't know necessarily who the makeup artist is because they're doing that first thing in the morning and I'm in the end of the evening. But if they're part of that event, I should know who that is. And boy, will they appreciate it if I go to the effort to find out who did the hair and the makeup, or who did the linens, or who supplied the cake knife, who did the decor, the beautiful arch that the couple got married under. So make sure that you're sharing. Include everything in your blogs and in all of your social media posts. It takes a little extra time to track down all of those links and tag everybody on Instagram so that when you press the picture, all the little bubbles pop up. Maybe if we're lucky, Cheryl will share some of her sweets with us. I don't know if there's a way to do that virtually. Can I get is there a way to get a sweet? So those are 5 quick success secrets that have really helped my business. Being polite is rare now. I didn't think it was, but if you are the most polite person in the room, people will react more warmly to you. You will stand out in their mind. Communicate. Open the lines of communication. Be the first one to reach out. Communicate briefly. Be very respectful of people's time. And then listening is a skill. Try it with your kids, with your significant others. Try it at the next networking meeting you go to. Challenge yourself to say 10 words the whole meeting. Try to really listen. That will make such a difference, not just for those 3 groups we serve, our clients, the vendors, and the guests, but your significant people in your life will notice a difference too. Empathize and understand the tremendous amount of pressure and stress that social media places on the people that we serve, and be sure to share. Now let's see, there's one more slide here. David, how did you get that one in there? David, stop it. So, so let me stop sharing my screen and open it for questions. I sincerely appreciate your time and the chance to present to you today. How can I help you?
Wow, wow, wow. It's even better now than when you did it in Arizona all those years ago.
Thank you.
And even when I saw you on stage in Las Vegas, it's better now. And I've forgotten how personalized you make this presentation, that everyone is included. It just kudos, bravos to you, sir. Thank you so very much. The floor is open. The chat is open. Please ask your questions freely. Jim is a gracious host that will be happy to answer. Elizabeth, I see your finger in the air. Don't use that finger usually, but go ahead.
Unmute, Elizabeth.
She sounds better when she's muted.
Jim, I tried to listen hard and take some notes, but I missed the name of this great restaurant in Indianapolis.
I wasn't sure if I should single them out.
Oh, please. I'll be back next week.
Okay. They have 2 locations. One is downtown, one is in Fishers, and they're called Pure Eatery.
Okay.
The food is exceptional.
It looked good. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Wonderful presentation. Lots of good ideas, lots of good things to practice and reinforce.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to, again, open for questions. And at the same time, I'm going to invite Preston, Alan, Bridget, and Stephen to come on camera. Stacy, I don't know where you are, but this is our photo op for the moment. And you're all going to be famous and fabulous in about 3 seconds. So here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And the rest of you get photoshopped in. More questions for Jim Cerone. Oh, Jerice, you still have your glasses on. Do I need to do it again?
Hi, these are my new glasses. I've been wearing them for over a month now.
Okay,
I'm keeping
okay.
them on for all of our pictures.
Okay. See, Jerice and I are backwards. I take mine off. She puts hers on. Okay. Oh, Stacy, you look great. Nice and centered. Questions for Jim, please.
I do have a comment. What you said about the people at the restaurant, I waitressed for many, many years of my life. And the other servers would always get mad at me because I had the most requests from the guests. And it was because I did just that. I knew their names. I knew some of their kids' names. I made them friends. And the restaurant I worked at for a long time recently closed forever. And I'm still in contact with some of them. So actually, that really does work.
And how much did that cost you, Shelley?
Nothing. Instead of it costing me anything, it actually, I mean, I was a waitress and I made like $50,000 a year for a long time as a waitress.
Such a simple thing. There's another,
Yes.
During COVID, there's a great barbecue place that we frequented. And with the online ordering now, you would think it would be very easy for them to identify people who are ordering frequently, and maybe to make them part of a loyalty club or a rewards club or something.
Mm-hmm.
Such a simple thing to do. Now, we don't necessarily have the same kind of situation as restaurants, but we can take those lessons and apply them to what we do. If we have a venue and we play at that venue once, whose fault is that? It's ours, because we didn't make the most of that relationship. So being proactive, introducing ourselves early, helping, being somebody who makes their jobs easier that day, learning the names of all of the staff, then you will not just get one event at that venue, you'll be on their referral list and work with them for a long time.
Yes. Thank you.
My pleasure, Shelley.
So I'm at a wedding and I happen to know a guest that's at the reception, that's not the bride and groom, just friend of the bride and groom, and I know them. And I've asked the question during our design time, is it okay to announce anniversaries or birthdays? And the couple has said no, their day, and that's where the focus remains. Okay, fair enough. But there's my friend sitting at the table. So when I walk over, I have a private moment with everyone at the table. And I say, Brent, it's so nice to see you and your lovely wife, Shelley. And I know that your anniversary is next Saturday. Congratulations to you both. And Shelley just goes, how did he know this? Because I had not met her. I only knew her husband. But birthdays, anniversaries are a great way to connect with your audience. And you can do it privately at the table without interrupting the party.
Another trick that I'll do, Scott, is play their first dance during dinner.
Excellent.
So I keep, again, cheating is so, it's part of what we do. Scott has a wonderful CRM tool. Preston probably knows a lot about CRM, customer relations management. All of these things now are shrunken in our phone. So every agenda of every wedding I've ever done is in Dropbox on my phone. And so I can look up the couple's name, look up their parents' names, look up what their first dance was in seconds, and then walk over like Scott did and act like, oh, I remembered everything about their day. No, I've done 200 weddings since then, but I cheated.
Yeah. But
Jim, that's not cheating. That's called doing your homework.
That's a better way to put it, Preston.
It's doing your homework.
Yeah. Anybody else have their own tips that they use for when they're want to ingratiate themselves to their audience?
Well, Brandy put in the chat handwritten notes to the staff afterwards.
Ooh,
Everyone, so that's quite lovely.
I can
wanted
help
to bring
with
that
that.
up.
Yes, Preston, you can help you with that. For those who may not know, Preston's company is going through a branding change. So
Correct.
greener still, AKA send out cards. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that still because you're in the branding change.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it's still send out cards. Our mission is still the same. We've just added 5 more products and services to help with relationship development.
Excellent.
So how about what I just did with you, Scott, in that I know that you're meeting with somebody that I'm already working with. So I gave you some background information that you would know if I hadn't told you.
Exactly. Thank you, Brandy. And when you're passing a referral and they're already your client, you're in that position. So when you make the introduction, whether it's in the introduction that you add the information or that you say, okay, so the introduction email, that was for you, but here's some added information that's just for you because you might want to know more than just where it's at and what time it's at, but they mentioned this about their son or their daughter, or that they commented on their need for, and then you fill in the blank, and all of a sudden you're the best friend. And Brandy, you're my best friend. Thank you. So,
Scott,
so appreciate it. Go ahead, Jim.
One thing I wanted to mention is in preparation for this meeting and in looking up all of you so I could meet you in advance, so to speak, I will say as nicely and as kindly as I can, some of you were hard to find. Maybe you were on Facebook, but your Facebook page didn't list the name of your company, so I didn't know what you did. So if I struck out there, I went to LinkedIn. Some of you were not on LinkedIn at all, or just your name, or a name with no photo. So make it easy for people to find you in every possible channel in every possible way, and make sure that your name is always attached to your company and what you do.
Thank you for that, because they're so tired of me whipping them about that very, very specific piece of business. I understand the need to want to keep your private life private, but as event professionals, we live a public life, and you need to let your information flow freely and make it easy for your audience to find you. So locking down your profile, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, it does you no good. So just, if you want to show naked pictures of you at the beach with your alumni, then just have that as a separate page. They're used to me. Oh, there's Alan. Thanks for joining us. And by the way, Jim, I know that you know Alan and Bryce and Keith, and they're actually out-of-staters for Event Ensemble. They have been invited and occasionally visit Arizona, and as a result, they provide their services here. And maybe, Alan, maybe you'll do that sometime.
Living in Seattle, we have the opposite sort of schedule. Everybody gets married here in July, August, and September. So for me, the idea of having relationships in Arizona would be gold, because I'm eager for work in November and December and January and February.
So, Jim, all this perfect host business, I'm curious, does it extend to gifting? You know, Heather Rykowski offers promotional products. Does it make sense to send them a mug with your logo on it? Or I don't know, what do you think about that?
That's a great question. What we've tried to do is make things more personal. And so my beautiful wife, Rosie, is a great baker, and she will make goodies as often as I can talk her into it. And we will go around to venues and provide some goodies. We all know we have to be careful about crossing the line between bribing somebody or, and it's not perceived that way if you are genuine and authentic in your dealings with everyone. So if you help make their jobs easier, if you're extremely professional, if you show up early, if you share information with them, they're going to want to work with you. This is just a little way of saying thank you. And that's really the way that Rosie and I perceive it. It is thanking these folks for trusting us with referrals to their clients, because they really open the door for us to serve more people. And so I think of it as a sincere thank you rather than a gift or trying to entice them to get onto the referral list. If it's really a genuine thank you, then I think that's always welcome.
Mm-hmm. I love that you want to make every vendor in the party make their process a little bit easier, make their job a little bit easier. But I always recognize at the same time, if there's a photographer, then they get to do that. If there's a planner, then let the planner do all of that so that I can now be free to do more creative, more entertaining without having to take on that responsibility. And so do you find that there's issues regarding boundaries?
I think of myself as an amoeba. Can I recall all of us back to high school biology? An amoeba does this, right? It runs into something and it adapts and it changes its shape and it moves. When I'm attending a rehearsal, which as a DJ and MC, I really like to go to the rehearsal if I'm able to. And there's an officiant, somebody who's marrying, running, there to help with the rehearsal. There's a venue coordinator, there's a wedding planner, and there's me. In that situation, I'm really going to hang back and I'm just going to step in when needed. Maybe I'm just playing the music at that rehearsal. At the next rehearsal, the next weekend, it's their best friend who has gotten their certificate, who's marrying them. No one in the room knows how to run a rehearsal. In that case, I will step forward and I will be more proactive in helping run the rehearsal. So I think if we shapeshift based on the dynamics in the room, that is really helpful. So again, looking for opportunities to work together rather than ever working against each other is so key.
I love that answer. Thank you. I'm going to try to be more like an amoeba.
I will say that I appreciate the term shapeshift better than amoeba.
Oh,
so maybe.
Sorry, poor choice of words. Go ahead. Come on, I know I heard somebody say something. What did I miss?
Okay, so I'm like a conversation back a little bit about where we're talking about filling in your, like making it easy to find you. So in the last couple of weeks, I've undergone this experiment to find as many venues as I can find in Arizona. And I'm creating this thing, this spreadsheet that has all of this information in it. You would be shocked how many venues, big name venues, that I cannot find a contact person, an email. I can't find a way to get a hold of them at all other than using a contact form. And I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to flood their contact forms with my nonsense. But it makes it really hard for me to be able to say, oh, I have this perfect venue for you. I have no idea how you're going to get a hold of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not perfect.
Oh, listen to what Elizabeth said. Their business process is imperfect, but the property may be perfect. And I'll leave it at that. But you are correct. It doesn't matter how big or small your company is. There are many that are guilty of not having proper contact information. And providing a variety of ways to communicate with your audience is best, because you don't know what their preference is. Some may prefer email, some may prefer the form, others prefer a phone. I'm shocked that they don't have phone numbers on their websites. What's that all about? Jim is laughing. It's true.
It is. And when I do my proactive reach out, I'm surprised at especially the number of photographers that seem to not want to hear from people except through their contact form. They don't have a separate email address listed. They don't have a phone number. Now, that may be, as a small business owner, they just can't handle the volume. And certainly with venues right now, they are deluged. They're getting so many contacts. And so they're just overwhelmed. The other situation with venues is sometimes the event coordinator is fantastic, but they work for a board, and the board doesn't allow them to put their name on the website. And so it makes it very impersonal and difficult. So again, empathizing with them, understanding their challenges. But yes, I am stunned, Brandy, at the number of people who make it really hard to book them.
So very true. And lessons, whether you're new to the crew or been at it for years. I got a couple more minutes. I'm curious, Jim, what's next for the perfect host?
That's a wonderful question. You guys have probably heard, there was a wonderful seminar that I attended about Gen Z and millennials, and years of experience are not impressive to them. They don't want to hear that you've been in business since 1991. That was before they were born. And to them, before they were born doesn't exist. So I've gotten in the habit of saying, as instructed by this person, I think it was Kelly Dabb who gave the presentation, that you should say, I've been in business more than 10 years. And so I've been in business more than 10 years, and I hope to remain in business a little bit longer. My wife and I are almost empty nesters. We have a 22-year-old and a 20-year-old sons. And we're not sure what our next chapter is going to be, but we're really having a lot of fun talking about it.
I actually know that you have another presentation about communicating with millennials and Gen Z.
I do. And it's very challenging. It's so much different to be a business owner today than it was 10 years ago. It's almost completely different in the expectations, the way that they communicate, and the challenges of posting constantly. I think we've all become slaves to our social media, and that's not a good thing.
Hold on a second. What were you saying? So very true. So very true. Jim, you have been the perfect host, and we are all enriched by what you've shared with us today. Thank you so very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much for your time and attention. I appreciate the opportunity.
Everyone, I did put Jim's, because he made it very easy to find, contact information in the chat if you would like to reach out to him. So please save the chat for that information.